The story does not begin with success. It does not begin with a factory or engineers or famous cars. It begins with fear, with smoke, with noise, with a bus that almost exploded on a cold morning in Japan. It was 6:45 a.m. People were rushing to work. Children were going to school. The bus was completely full, packed like a moving box of tired faces. And in the very back seat sat a small boy named Kichiro. He held his school bag tight. His legs were shaking, not because he was scared, but because the bus itself shook like an old machine ready to die. The engine growled loudly. Growling, "Kerara taka, taka boom." People gasped. A woman covered her ears. Someone shouted, "Not again!" The driver hit the steering wheel in frustration. Then it happened. A loud blast came from the front of the bus. Not big enough to destroy it, but strong enough to stop everything. Smoke filled the air. The bus jerked violently. Children screamed. Adults cursed. Everyone looked terrified. Everyone except Kichiro, while others panicked. His eyes opened wide with curiosity. He watched the smoke. He listened to the dying engine. He felt the vibration through the floor. And in that chaos, that moment when fear controlled everyone, Kichiro felt something completely different. A spark. A small, powerful spark inside his young heart. A thought: machines should not scare people. Machines should help people. One day, I will build a better one. He didn't know it yet, but that small spark, born on a broken morning bus, would one day grow into the engine behind one of the greatest car companies in history, Toyota. After the bus incident, Kichiro walked to school with a heavy backpack and even heavier thoughts. Japan at that time was not an easy place to live. The country was rebuilding. Jobs were few. Money was tight. Many families struggled every single day. Kichiro's family was one of them. His father worked long hours repairing simple tools for neighbors. His mother saved every coin she could. They lived in a small wooden house with thin walls and a roof that leaked when it rained. But Kichiro never complained. He was a quiet boy, a shy boy, a boy who kept most of his feelings inside. And yet, he had something powerful, endless curiosity. If a bicycle chain fell off, he watched closely. If a sewing machine made a strange sound, he leaned forward and listened. If a radio stopped working, he gently touched it, as if trying to feel the problem. People in the village often said, "Kichiro is strange. Other children play games, but he watches machines like they're alive." But Kichiro didn't mind. Machines made sense to him. They didn't shout. They didn't judge. They didn't laugh at him for being small or shy. They simply worked or didn't work, and he wanted to understand why. Every morning, the same old bus passed by his house, and every morning, Kichiro listened to it. Taka, taka, jirar, taka. The sound stayed in his mind. It was like the bus was calling him, whispering, "Fix me, understand me, find a better way." Kichiro didn't know how. He didn't have tools. He didn't have teachers. He didn't have money. But he had a dream forming quietly inside him, a dream that would soon be shaped by one unforgettable event. One afternoon, a heavy storm hit the village. The sky turned dark. The wind screamed. Rain fell so hard it sounded like stones hitting the ground. School finished early, and the old bus came to pick up the children. People hurried inside to escape the rain. Kichiro and his mother found 2 seats near the middle. Water dripped from the ceiling. The windows shook. The engine sounded even more tired than usual. The driver sighed and said quietly, "Please, please don't brake today." The bus started moving. Slowly, painfully. The wheels slid on the wet road. Then, halfway up a small hill, boom! A loud, violent noise exploded from the front. The bus jerked forward. People screamed. A baby started crying. An old man held his chest in fear. Smoke filled the air. A burning smell spread through the bus. The driver jumped out to check the engine, shouting, "Everyone stay inside. Don't move." Kichiro's mother held his arm. Her hands were cold. "This bus, it's dangerous," she whispered. But Kichiro wasn't looking at the smoke. He wasn't looking at the frightened passengers. He was looking at the engine. Something inside him felt like it unlocked. While everyone around him felt fear, he felt clarity. He listened to the sputtering sound of the engine trying to breathe. He watched the driver hit the metal in frustration. He saw how powerless people were when machines failed. In that moment, Kichiro understood something. Machines control people's lives. And if machines are weak, people suffer. For a child, it was a deep and heavy realization. That night at home, Kichiro couldn't sleep. The sound of the broken engine echoed in his mind. He thought, one day, I will learn how to fix machines. Not just fix them, make them better, make them safe. That moment, in a smoky, broken bus on a stormy day, became the seed of a dream that would grow far beyond anything he could imagine. After the stormy day on the bus, Kichiro woke up with a new feeling inside him. It wasn't fear. It wasn't sadness. It was purpose. He didn't have a clear plan. He didn't know how engines worked. He didn't even know where to start. But he knew one thing. He wanted to understand machines. Completely. A boy who learned differently. At school, Kichiro was not the fastest learner. His math was okay. His reading was average. His handwriting looked messy. But when the teacher talked about tools, gears, or energy, Kichiro's eyes lit up. He stayed after class. He asked simple but deep questions. He often took apart small objects, pencils, toys, clocks, just to see how they worked. Sometimes he broke them. Sometimes he fixed them. But every time, he learned something new. His teacher once told his mother, "Your son doesn't talk much, but when he looks at machines, he looks like he can hear them breathing." Starting from zero, when Kichiro turned 16, he asked his parents for permission to work at a small mechanical workshop in town. The place was dirty. The air smelled like oil and hot metal. Tools were everywhere. Engines sat on wooden tables like big hearts waiting to beat again. On his first day, the old mechanic looked at him and said, "You're young. You're small. You don't know anything." Kichiro bowed respectfully and replied, "I want to learn. I will work hard." The mechanic laughed. But after a week of watching Kichiro, he stopped laughing because Kichiro didn't quit. He didn't complain. He didn't get bored. He cleaned tools. He watched closely. He asked questions quietly but carefully. One afternoon, the mechanic put a broken motor on the table and said, "Try to fix it." Most boys would panic. But Kichiro breathed deeply, closed his eyes for a moment, and listened to the engine like it was speaking to him. He touched the parts gently. He studied each piece. He tried once, failed, tried again, failed again. But by sunset, something amazing happened. The motor made a small, soft sound. Taka, taka, taka. It worked. Not perfectly, not strongly, but it worked. The mechanic smiled and said, "You have something special. Don't lose it." And Kichiro didn't. He kept learning. Day after day, failure after failure, small success after small success. Because deep inside him, he still remembered the smoke, the fear, the broken bus, and the promise he made himself. One day, I will build something better. Now let's pause for a moment. Let's step away from the factories, the problems, the ambitions, and let's look inside Henry's mind. Because deep inside, something important was happening. Something that shaped his entire future. Henry had a belief stronger than fear, stronger than poverty, stronger than doubt. It was a simple belief, but a powerful one. If something could be improved, I must improve it. This belief guided every action he took. It was like a small flame burning inside him. Not loud, not dramatic, not explosive, but steady, consistent, unbreakable. Many people think success comes from talent. Some think it comes from luck. Others think it comes from meeting the right person at the right time. But for Henry, success came from something different, an obsession with excellence. Let's analyze this mentality step by step. In simple English, 1. Henry had a growth mindset. He believed he could get better. He believed machines could get better. He believed everything could improve if he tried hard enough. People with a growth mindset see problems as challenges, not as walls, not as the end, but as opportunities to learn. 2. Henry connected emotion with work. For him, building something wasn't just a job. It was personal. He cared deeply. He felt alive when he repaired things. He felt proud when he made something run smoother. This emotional connection made him work harder than most people. He wasn't motivated by money. He was motivated by meaning. 3. Henry used pain as fuel. Growing up poor, growing up with limitations, growing up surrounded by things that didn't work. Instead of feeling defeated, he used that reality to push himself forward. Many successful people share this pattern. Their past pain becomes their future power. 4. Henry had long-term vision. Most people in his town wanted quick money, quick jobs, quick safety. But Henry wanted long-term mastery. He wanted to become a master craftsman, someone whose work could not be ignored. Long-term vision is a superpower. It separates dreamers from builders. 5. Henry was internally driven. He didn't wait for applause. He didn't need anyone to cheer for him. He didn't wait for permission. His motivation came from inside. People like this are rare, and they are unstoppable. Why does this matter for English learners listening to this story? Because Henry's mindset is something anyone can learn, and it applies to learning English too. When you keep improving a little every day, celebrate small progress, learn from mistakes, enjoy the process, and don't wait for motivation, you start developing the same internal power Henry had. This mindset can turn a beginner into a confident speaker, just like it turned a poor boy into a legendary engineer. That was the deep psychology behind Henry's transformation. Now, let's continue the story, because something big is about to happen. Something or someone that will completely change Henry's destiny. One day, after years of learning and small experiments, something extraordinary happened. Kichiro was now a young man. He had small workshops full of old tools, half-finished engines, and endless sketches. He still struggled. He still failed sometimes. But he had learned patience and the power of persistence. The big opportunity. A famous engineer from Tokyo came to visit his town. He had heard rumors of a talented young mechanic. When he saw Kichiro's engines, he was impressed. "You have talent," the engineer said. "But talent alone is not enough. You need vision. You need leadership. And most importantly, courage." Kichiro nodded silently. He had courage. He had vision. He had spent years dreaming of making machines safe and reliable. The engineer smiled. He offered Kichiro a small loan, enough to build a proper factory. Not big, not perfect, but real chance. The first real success. With the loan, Kichiro started building the first full car. He worked day and night. He measured every screw. He tested every engine. He failed many times. Many engines broke. Many parts were wasted. Then one morning it happened. The car started. The engine ran smoothly. The lights turned on. The wheels rolled forward without a single noise of panic. Kichiro couldn't believe it. All the years, all the effort, it worked. People from the village came to see. They clapped. They cheered. They could not believe that a boy from a small village had built a real car. A moment to remember. Kichiro looked at his car. He thought about the old broken bus. He remembered the smoke, the fear, the screaming passengers. And he smiled, because now he had created something better, something safe, something reliable, something that could change lives. This was a turning point. From this moment, Kichiro was no longer just a boy who loved machines. He was a man who could change the future of transportation in Japan and later the world. After the first successful car, Kichiro did not stop. He knew that making one good car was not enough. He wanted to build a company that would make many cars for many people, a company that would last for generations. Building the factory with a small team of workers, he started a real factory. It was not large. The machines were simple. But Kichiro had vision. He studied carefully. He noticed every mistake. He improved every process. He listened to workers. He watched engines. He tested wheels. He measured speed. He measured safety. This became his famous Kaizen philosophy, which means continuous improvement. Every day, every small change made the cars better. Better quality, better performance, better safety, challenges and growth. It was not easy. Factories caught fire. Engines broke. Parts were lost. Competitors laughed. Some even said, "Your little company will fail." Big companies like Ford and GM are too strong. But Kichiro remembered the bus. He remembered the smoke. He remembered fear. And he remembered his promise. I will build something better. Slowly, people started to notice. The cars were reliable. Workers were proud. Customers were happy. Toyota grew. It started small in Japan. Then it spread to other cities. Then to the world, becoming a global brand. Years later, Toyota became one of the largest car companies in the world. Millions of people drove Toyota cars every day. From small villages to big cities, the world trusted the machines Kichiro helped create. And all of this started with a little boy on a broken bus, a spark inside his heart, and a dream that refused to die. Kichiro's story shows that vision, persistence, and continuous improvement can change lives, not just for one person, but for millions. Kichiro's story is not just about cars. It is about life. It is about dreams, effort, and courage. Lesson 1. Start small, dream big. Kichiro started with nothing. No money, no tools, no fame, but he had a dream. Even the smallest spark can grow into a powerful flame. If you have a dream, don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now, start small, and keep going. Lesson 2. Learn from every failure. Every engine broke. Every car failed many times. Sometimes his workers laughed at him, but Kichiro never gave up. He treated failure as a lesson. He learned, improved, and tried again. Remember, mistakes are not the end. They are steps toward success. Lesson 3. Work hard, focus, and care. Kichiro cared about every detail. Every screw, every wheel, every engine. Even small things mattered. If you want to succeed, care about your work. Do your best, even when no one is watching. Lesson 4. Use your past as fuel. Kichiro grew up poor. He grew up surrounded by broken things. Instead of feeling weak, he used these experiences as strength. Pain and difficulty can be fuel for growth, not chains to stop you. Lesson 5. Continuous improvement, Kaizen. Small improvements every day can make a huge difference. Never stop learning. Never stop improving. Even small progress will grow into something big over time. A philosophy for everyone. Kichiro's story teaches us Dreams are powerful. Patience and effort are stronger than talent alone. Failure is part of the journey. Care and persistence create lasting success. No matter who you are or where you start, you can create something meaningful, something that lasts, something that helps many people. Years passed. The little boy on the old broken bus became a man who changed the way people traveled, a man whose dream touched millions of lives. Kiichiro's company, Toyota, became one of the most trusted car brands in the world. People drove his cars safely to work, to school, and to new adventures. From a tiny village in Japan to cities across the globe, his vision spread. But more importantly, Kiichiro's story continues to inspire. It reminds us that great things start small. It reminds us that persistence beats fear. It reminds us that dreams, when fueled by effort and care, can change the world. The last reflection. Imagine a little boy sitting at the back of a shaking, noisy bus. He looks at the old, broken engine. He sees smoke. He hears screams. And yet, he feels excitement. He feels curiosity. He feels hope. That boy became a man who built an empire, not because he was rich, not because he was famous, but because he refused to give up, because he listened, learned, and worked hard every single day. A message for you. No matter who you are, no matter how small your beginnings, no matter how difficult the journey seems, you can start today. You can dream. You can improve. You can create. Even a small spark can become a fire. Even one idea can change millions of lives. Even a broken bus can inspire greatness. And maybe your story will inspire the next generation too.